everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. Don't forget it, C-H-U-K, not C-H-U-C-K. And Eric is E-R-I-K, not E-R-I-C. They're throwing around the C's like bombs out there. Watch yourselves. You never know what's going to happen. Time to clear up some things, because it's Friday, and on Friday, I clear things up. Clear up numero uno. This is Patrick Ewing. This is a signed Patrick Ewing autographed jersey. Signed autograph's the same, I said it twice. Patrick Ewing is my friend. I love Patrick Ewing. Not personally though, but I love him. He is the most underrated player in the history of New York sports. The man has 0 rings, but that is not the way he should be looked at. He never had a supporting cast. Sorry, John Starks, I love you too, I got a poster somewhere, but not really that great. Mason, Oakley was pretty cool. Lots of other players came and went, but I just needed to clear up on Clear Up Friday that Patrick Ewing should be loved and revered, and I think a lot of Knicks fans are now feeling what I knew. Once Ewing was going to leave, it was going to go all downhill. We've not been the same. Patrick Ewing, if you're watching, because I know you are, because everybody watches Wine Library TV, you are the most underrated player in New York sports history. Clear Up number 2. Eric Hasner, you remember him? I kind of screwed up the wording yesterday. Eric did not actually have his baby girl yet. Eric found out that he was having a baby girl. So, that's that. Obviously, a lot of people got mixed up with that. I mixed that up. Clear up number 3. You can find a cell phone in the middle of the ocean. That's right. Story time. Quick story. It's Friday. My dad pulled one of the great moves. You have to understand, my dad is like really good about common sense and practicality and doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Like doesn't lock himself out of the car, doesn't forget his wallet, at his table. He's just like solid. He's big about that. Well, my dad decided to jump in the ocean with the rest of the family on during our trip in Puerto Rico, and Pops decides to put his cell phone in his hat. I don't know why, but this is making the story good. That's right. Pops put his cell phone in his hat. Went out the ocean holding my sister's hand. They were having a great moment. It was really nice. For some reason, I think water hit. My dad decided to take his hat off, and the cell phone fell. My dad was crushed. I mean, crushed like you just found out the world had disappeared. And he kind of went off away and left to the ocean, and we didn't even try to find, because how could you find a cell phone in the ocean? Well, that was that. Moments later, I'm walking around. We're jumping the waves. I don't know what we were doing. We're having a good time. This is not even in the same general area as where my dad lost the phone. The phone hit my leg, and I found the phone in the middle of the ocean. You know, timing is everything, kids. So if you remember anything else, don't put your cell phone on your head and a hat over it when you go into the ocean. All right, we've cleared up enough things, don't you think, Eric? You like that, right? Big shout out to Bobby Schifrin. Bobby Schifrin's 20th anniversary of working at the Wine Library, formerly Shoppers Discount. Bobby is my dad's first cousin. He's his 20th year here at Wine Library. He's not even 40 years old, so you could do the math. We did a big surprise for him. We got the whole company upstairs. I think at least the customer stole at least $5,000 to $10,000 worth of stuff while they were downstairs. Nobody watching the store. Big cake. It was really nice. He is a backbone. We have Wine Library TV because of Bobby Schifrin, and he should get a shout out from all you lurkers. And then we'll send him a link so he feels good, because he's one of those guys that like always thinks things are bad. Anyway, Friday, focus, right there? Questions and vino. And today I'm going to do a fun episode. We're going to do wines of Bourgogne, which is really, really interesting because Bourgogne is another area in the Loire Valley. We've talked about Chinon. We've talked about Cabernet Franc. And today we're going to expand your mind a little bit more. We're going to talk about Bourgogne. Really interesting wines. A lot of hardcore nerds say they even outlast the Chinons. So these are wines that last for a long time. Cabernet Franc based, brought from Bordeaux thousands of years ago. I mean, these wines are very serious and very under the radar. And who's going to bring things from under the radar? I am. So let's do that right now. What we've got today is an excellent producer, Frederic Maboulet, and what we've got is 2 wines, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do the 04 and the 05, so we get to try both vintages. The 05 is very heralded, so I'm excited to try it. But we're going to start with the 04, the Frederic Maboulet, and this is the Bourgogne, and this is the 2004, And this is really interesting because this is 92 points wine and spirits, which, if you remember, I actually am a pretty big fan of their magazine. They do a nice job. And this is 14 US dollars. And just because I like Bourgogne and I want to present it in a great manner, I brought out the big glass. And that's fun because it's Friday, and that's a good thing. And you can see, I hope, some really nice color. These wines, again, Cab Franc, really serious wines. And holy green pepper wars. I mean, like, just an enormous amount of green pepper scattering all over, like they're playing TV tag. Remember? Happy Days, and they couldn't tag you. That was an awesome game. If you've never played it, you've missed out hard. Anyway, green peppers playing TV tag on the nose, no doubt. Black pepper, very, very interesting dill flavor coming through. Pickle juice on the nose. So you know I'm enjoying it. It's got all that going on, all for $14. So the nose alone is bringing the thunder. Good complexity in the mid palate, nice structure, a little black currant flavor coming through. Dry in the palate, finishes still kicking with a little bit of jalapeno pepper mixed with pickle juice, which is my style. This is very earthy and vegetal. Not really a fruit bomb by any stretch of imagination. Much more to the old world this time. Let's wave it to the old world. You know, nice hat, a pipe, firm handshake, kind of old world in its approach, but a solid bottle of wine. Definitely something that made me think baked potato right away. I just think that'd be a nice pairing. I don't know why, but maybe with some bacon on it. All things I can't eat anymore because my cholesterol's too high. That all being said, complex, rich, nice patterns of blackberry, and then the vegetal aspect, that pickled, kind of almost like a cabbage flavor coming through on the flavor. Brussels sprouts. This is like a healthy dinner. Just really a passionate wine. And what I mean by that is it's bringing a lot of different things to the table, but it's very focused on what it's bringing, and that's that vegetal and that fruit underlining blackcurrant, blackberry, nice complexity, nice richness, good long finish, solid bottle of wine. I'm probably describing it a little bit more excited than I am about this wine because I'm just excited it's Friday. So keep, let's put an asterisk. How can I? That's pretty ugly. But that being said, it's a medium to full-bodied wine, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon drinkers that like the old world Cabernet Sauvignon would like this wine as well. I'm going to score this wine 88 points. I think Wine Spirits is way too high with 92 points. I was really excited because Wine Spirits has done a good job. But this is an 88-point wine, which is very commendable for a what is it, a $14 bottle of wine. It's no problem at all. And a great entry into the world of Bourgogne. And I like it. And I'm excited to try the 05, 100% Cab Franc, because I'm hearing big things about the 05 vintage. Let's do some questions on Friday. Before I do that, Eric, should I admit it? I'm going to admit it. I've listened to November Rain by Guns N' Roses for the last 3 days straight of my vacation on my iPod, and now 2 days in the office straight. I'm thinking I'm clocking around 2,000 listens, so this sucks. You know what? I'll tell you why it sucks. When Guns N' Roses came out in the late 80s or whenever the heck that was, and it was so cool to like them, I didn't like them. I liked Lionel Richie and like Cyndi Lauper, so I wasn't cool. Now, when it's not cool again now it's not cool to like Guns N' Roses, and I like it. I'm just like a backwards Pinot Noir. What kind of grape are you? Anyway, Large Format Fever says, Gary, how many emails piled up while you were gone on vacation? Large Format Fever, let me call you I'm going to tell you right now, a lot. I got pounded, but I was attacking them while I was on vacation, as many of you know. When I got home finally, the last couple days I took it easy, I had over 4,000 emails to address. But we have a new, more improved spam filter, so I'm starting to at least not have to spend 20 minutes right off the bat cleaning up. And so that makes it pretty cool. And that's that. Badger Ann says, Gary, how about an episode on obscure Italian wine? I recently tried red wines such as Sangrantino and Lagrean, and I've never had these wines before, but they were great. Are there others that could be tasted on Wine Library TV? Thanks. Badger Ann, great question. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Obscure Italian Wines is something we're probably going to go over through a whole month of. We'll call it Obscure Italian Wine Month, or OM. And it's going to be really, really fun because we're going to focus on these different things, and there's a lot. There is a lot going on. It's just not about Brunello and Barbaresco and Chianti in Italy anymore, and Pinot Grigio. There is a lot. We will attack it, and I'm looking forward to the OM month. We'll figure out when that is, probably around the same time of the Heat episode. All right, let's focus on the 05 Frederic Mabillé Bourgogne, and this is 90 points, Wine Spectator, and 16 US dollars. 90 points Spectator, 16 bucks. Can you see that? What a ridiculous, actually, you know what? This is so ridiculous. Don't you love that about us? We can do things on the spot. I mean, it's just kind of cool. I don't know if you'll be able to tell exactly, and this is going to be hard, but there is a considerable difference in the color. Not considerable, let me take that back. But the 05 is definitely a more bright, vibrant color, whereas the 04 has a little, tiny, itsy-bitsy level of brownness to it. Whereas this is much more of a purple fluorescent color. So the color is much more lively. 100% Cab Franc. Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you're like a V8 drinker or you really like vegetables like I do, these are the kind of wines that really, speak to you. And what are they saying? Psst, drink me, you'll like me. And I agree. I'm like, you're right, I will. Because the reality is the vegetal aspect of this wine is such a nice change of pace to about 85 to 90% of the wines out there that are more fruit-driven, that, but they're structured and they're heavier. A lot of the great things that Pinot Noir from Burgundy brings you is that, but, sometimes they tend to be a little bit lighter and a little bit different. These are wines that are full, robust, bringing it, hard, but also bring you more of those traditional vegetal and dirty and let's call them earthy tones. This has a nice mint aspect underlining over everything else. Really, really obvious, black pepper, green and red peppers, the vegetables coming through heavily. Real nice. Very, very polished, almost like a hint of cinnamon at the last second. Give it up to the people from the Wine Spectator. They nailed this hard. I'm getting a little bit of V8 juice. I mean, I'm just getting that flavor. It's almost like tomato juice with Tabasco sauce in it. I'm getting that flavor underlining on the mid palate, which is awesome. I'm getting a little bit of chocolate in this one, which we did not get in the other one, which is really bringing a nice roundness and a little much needed sweetness to really cover all people. This is the kind of wine that I think will address a lot of people's needs, which is very interesting. This is good juice. I mean, the bottom line is, this may not be your style. Wow. This is very complex, very rich, great chocolate, great dill, great green and red peppers coming through, combining flawlessly. I mean, just perfectly. Bringing a great foundation for this wine. This is a 91-point wine. I'm going to one-up the Spectator on this one. And I think this is a great effort. Clearly better than 2004. Based on the pedigree of the vintage out there, that makes sense. What can I say? This is an outstanding bottle of wine for $16. Everybody should rush out and find this all over I know New York and California, there's a lot of states that have this wine. This is an absolute tremendous entry into a land that you don't know, or may know. Leather Palate. You like that name? It's pretty good. Oh, you don't like it? It scares you. 96 Barolo question. How long should I let the vintage breathe before drinking? Thank you in advance. This whole scene is very groovy, man. It is so groovy in here. Come on, put on the, what is that, those things called? The funnel, what is that? The lava lamp. Put on the lava lamp. Leather Palate, thank you for the question. Great question. Very broad. Very broad. There's a lot of different 96 Barolos, but as a whole, It's a very interesting vintage, very tight, very, age-worthy vintage. Much more than people think. A lot of Limelight goes to 97, but the 96s were structured phenomenally. 96, if you want to open now, I highly recommend decanting between 4 to 6 hours. As a whole. I like repeating it. It kind of like sends the message home. But there are some that drink a little bit better, but I think you'll be very safe 4 to 6 hours. It's a fantastic vintage. Hopefully you have a great producer's wine. I mean, to be very honest with you, I think Captain Kangaroo could have made a good wine in 1996 in Piedmont. It was a tremendous vintage, a great growing season, and I hope you enjoy it. If you've got some mushrooms laying around, that goes great. Some raviolis, so you can have some like truffles, God forbid. Let's move on. Leather Palate again, and I didn't even know this. Wow. Leather Palate has broken the rule, right? 2 in one show, first time. Unbelievable. I wasn't even paying attention. The first one was from the 30th. The 22nd one is from the 29th. Congratulations, Leather Palate. You've just won $10,000 US. Eric's going to send it to you from his account. What should I pair with authentic gumbo? Not fake, but authentic gumbo. This is for the Super Bowl party. Go Bears. Well, I just lost a little bit of my enthusiasm for Leather Palate, and we will be banning you from the, show. You've lost your $10,000. As a matter of fact, you owe Eric $10,000. Eric is doing that charity event. If you guys haven't contributed, it's a nice segue. Link time. Chris Mott, when you load this, link to Eric's charity. Eric is building a home for people who don't have a home. It's a great charity. Click the link, guys. Check it out. All this free entertainment I'm giving you. Come on. At least you can throw Eric $1. He's the best. Anyway, real gumbo. Very simply, listen to me and listen to me hard. Pinot Gris from Alsace. This is the way to go. I've had a bunch of combos. And, tricky here now, but Sancerre from the Loire Valley. Sauvignon Blanc does very well with gumbo, but I find that the New Zealand version is too grassy and too like lemony and too pineapple-y. The California version, they just stink, but I was so rude. They're just not good. And I just find the Loire Valley versions to be so much more better, more complete, and have been great combos as well. I'm a big fan of Mardi Gras, so I've had some authentic gumbo in my lifetime, and that is definitely the way to go, even though you're rooting for the Bears. Bears suck. Anyway, Mike H., Eric, to you, I'm telling you this time, says, how about an episode on such wines as Rieslings from the Finger Lake region? And you know what? This is the reason I brought this question, Mike H., is I'm going to allow you to speak for all the other people. I'm embarrassed. I'm getting pounded by people asking for a Finger Lake episode, and I'm writing back like, thank you so much, and I love you, and I'm going to do it this week, and I am just such a jerk. Like Kahuna, right? Jerk off, big jerk off. I'm a little bit more of a pretty jerk off. He's more of a big jerk off. But, I will do it. I have to do it, and it's a region that needs to be paid attention to, especially for the Finger Lakes and Long Island, for that matter. There's a lot going on in the East Coast. PA coming on the scene. Global warming changing the game. If you're a young person and you want to invest, Napa Valley is expensive. Look around. Idaho, Montana, Virginia, PA. Things are changing. And when this video is dug up on YouTube in 50 years, they're going to say, boy, that kid was pretty smart, wasn't he? He was smart. 7 Jets Super Bowls under Eric Mangini. Mark it down now. First person to predict it. Kent L. says, at what temperature does a wine cook? 90? 100? 110? Anyone know? I think this would be a great test in the long-awaited Heat episode. Heat episode. All right, what are they talking about, the Heat episode? Does Tony even watch the show anymore? Tony, we miss you. Somebody find Tony. I'm an 80-100 guy. And that's my rule for heat. 80 degrees over maybe a week or two, 3, 4, or 5, gets a little bit hairy for me. I don't like 80. 100 for like a day or two, hairy. Wine is much tougher. Don't forget, that is my big thing. Wine is much tougher than you think so. But extreme heats do cause leaking, and the whole game changes, and we don't like that. Plus, your hands get dirty, and the wine's sometimes tough to get out. I mean, it's one of those things. 80, 100. 80 for a little bit of a consistent time. Flashes at 100, it's over. I've seen 90-degree wines go through, like Texas and things like that. Flashes have been okay. It's funny. At 100, kaputski. So that's my rule, 80, 100. I hope that helps. Yeah. Question of the day, because I kind of forgot yesterday. I mean, thank God Eric's thing, and some people answered. Question of the day. What is the worst wine you've had this week? Just curious. Just I want to see some things that are bad. I want to try them, see if you're right. See if you're preconceiving, maybe. Huh? Are you preconceiving? Because you... A little bit of me. I like getting close and personal. We're changing the wine world, aren't we? I'll see you later.